then shut up!
In a distant land of Uz there lived a man whose name was Job. He feared God and shunned evil. He was a blameless man. Job was the greatest man among all the people of the East, for he had 7 sons and 3 daughters, 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 oxen, 500 donkeys, and a large number of servants. One day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord. Satan also came with them.
Have you heard of my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil.
This is because Job does not fear God. You have blessed Job with everything he desires. He only worships you because you make sure nothing bad ever happens to him. If you stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, I'm sure he will turn on you in an instant.
You really think that? Fine, then you may test him. I've put all of this in your hands. Take away all of his blessings, but do never hurt the man.
Satan immediately begins his plan to test Job. One day catastrophe strikes. The first messenger comes.
The fire of God fell from the sky and burned up the sheep and the servant. I am the only one who has escaped to tell you.
The Chaldeans formed 3 raiding parties and swept down on your camels and carried them off. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one that survived to tell you.
Your sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house when suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert and struck the 4 corners of the house. It collapsed on them and they are dead. I am the only one to escape.
Job was extremely sad after the loss of his family and livestock. He rips off all of his clothes and shaves off his hair and curses the day of his birth.
May the day of my birth perish, and the night it was said, a boy is born. May darkness and deep shadows claim it once more. May a cloud never settle over it. May blackness overwhelm its light. Why did I not perish at birth and die as I came from the womb? Why were there knees to receive me and breasts I might be nursed?
Job continues to curse himself, but still with all of this, Job never blames God. He never sins by charging God with wrongdoing. Job stated that he came into the world with nothing and he will leave with nothing. Everything God did was for a reason, and if God wanted to take everything back, that would be fine with Job. Meanwhile, up in the sky, God continues to speak to Satan.
I think Job is a better man than you think. With all of these tests, he has never once sworn to me or disrespected me.
Well, that is only because I have not yet harmed himself. I have only harmed his family and his possessions. If I harm his health, I doubt he will remain loyal. No sick man doesn't swear to God.
Fine then, ruin his healthy body if you think that will prove your point.
With the support of God, Satan returns to earth and strikes Job with open sores all over his body. His health begins to deteriorate because Satan curses Job with sleepless nights and nightmares. But even then, Job refuses to curse God in any way. Even his wife becomes hopeless.
I cannot believe you still haven't cursed God. Everything that was special to us has been destroyed, and you are soon to die from this horrible disease that has struck you. Just curse God and die.
God has given me such great things, and if he has given me bad things too, we just must learn to accept them. We cannot accept the good things without accepting the bad.
The people hear about Job's tragic accidents, and a few of Job's friends come to comfort him. They can barely recognize him, and the 4 men sit in silence for 7 days. After sitting silently for almost a week, Job finally cries out with anger and grief.
I do not understand. I have done nothing wrong. Why are all these horrible things happening to me? God, why are you letting all of these terrible things happen? I wish I was never born. Job, I don't think God punishes innocent people. Good people do not suffer. God is punishing you for a reason, because you sinned and did something wrong. But I didn't sin, I swear, and even though I did, I'm sure my God would understand my true character and soon forgive me.
Job begins to cry out about the unfairness and how God is treating him unfairly, but Bildad is not convinced of Job's arguments.
I don't think God is being unfair at all. You must have deserved all of this. Your children were killed too, so that must mean they were sinners too, just like you. God is giving you a chance to confess your sins, and you should take this opportunity.
But Bildad, I really would confess my sins like you said, but I truly do not know what I have done wrong. God, please come and tell me what I have done wrong.
Job continues to complain and try to confess his innocence to his friends, but it angers his friend Zophar.
You are a fool! You do not know anything about God. Stop insisting that you have done nothing wrong because you obviously have. Just accept that and start apologizing for all of your sins. Maybe God will forgive you then. So in the meantime, stop insulting God. You don't understand him.
After this, Job begins to get angry with the meanness and harshness of his friends.
Some friends you are. I am at the lowest point of my life right now, and you don't even comfort me at all? How do you know so much more about God than I do? I just wish I could speak to God and ask him of my wrongdoings. I wish he could come and speak for himself. Even then, if he killed me, I wouldn't care, because I have full faith and trust in God and his decisions.
Yeah, I agree with everyone else. God does not punish the innocent. Job, God found fault in your actions, and this is his way of revenge. Crying out to God is only a form of rebelling even more towards him. Just take the blame like a guilty man and ask for forgiveness.
Job, extremely desperate and hysterical, cries out one last time in pure frustration.
God, please, I have suffered so much. I have not done anything. Please come to me and tell me what I have done wrong.
Finally, after hearing all of Job's suffering and pleading, God comes to him in a storm.
Stand up, Job. I will question you and you must answer me.
Job stands up in God's demand.
You think you know everything about me? Where were you when I laid out of the earth's foundation? Who shut up the sea behind doors when it burst forth from the womb? Have you ever given orders to the morning or shown the dawn its place? Have you journeyed to the springs of the sea or walked in the recesses of the deep? Have you seen the gates of the shadow of death? Can you rule over the magnificent creatures that I have created? Job, I am in charge of the universe and in charge of everything that exists in this world. You don't understand all the decisions that I make, and you can't understand the greater good I desire for you. Your place in this world is to trust me in my actions.
After God's speech, Job falls to the ground in sadness and apologizes for his actions.
Forgive me, God. I spoke foolishly about things that I didn't fully understand.
God accepts Job's statement and apology. After this, he heals Job. He gives him twice as many animals as he lost. He also gives him 10 more children. After this, Job lives 140 years. He sees his children and their children to the 4th generation. And so he died, old and full of years.
Skibbity bop, girl, 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 you're my world.